Securing your home sounds responsible. Reinforcing doors, barricading windows, stacking sandbags, razor wire along the fence, posting about it on social media. You feel prepared. You feel proactive. You feel like you've taken control. Here's the problem. Every visible layer of defense is a billboard. It signals something very specific. This person has resources. This person expects trouble. This person is preparing for something the rest of us are not prepared for. In a stable world, that might deter. In an unstable one, it attracts. In a world where desperation overrides judgment, that billboard becomes an invitation, not a warning. The 2-meter tactical fence doesn't say stay away. It says there's something here worth taking. It says effort may be rewarded. This is the core shift most people miss. Security is not just about strength. It's about perception, silent reinforcement, position hardening that looks like an ordinary Tuesday. That is the doctrine. I'm on a road to get 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. Step 1. Understand what actually fails and make it irrelevant. Most residential security fails quickly, not slowly. It fails at weak points, under time pressure, with minimal tools. The goal is not to build something unbreakable. The goal is to make breaking it take too long, too loud, and too uncertain. And for anyone with bad knees, a bad back, or service-related injuries, understand this. You don't have to physically fight to defend your home. Drop the bar, sit down, let physics do the work. A properly reinforced door with a solid barricade transfers force into the structure of the house. It's not about strength, it's about leverage and resistance. Once engaged, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't panic, it doesn't make mistakes. The average break-in attempt lasts 8 to 10 minutes. That's the window. Intruders rely on speed and surprise. When they encounter resistance that produces noise, delay, and uncertainty, the equation changes. Noise increases exposure. Time increases risk. Lack of progress increases doubt. A barricaded door that holds under repeated force, even for a few minutes, becomes a psychological barrier as much as a physical one. That is not a door someone commits to. That is a problem they abandon. Step 2. Address the glass. Doors are only half the equation. A significant portion of residential entries occur through windows, especially on the ground floor. The instinctive response is visible reinforcement, bars, grates, steel fixtures. But again, visibility sends a signal. It tells the outside world that what's inside is worth protecting. Instead, think in terms of invisible resistance. Security window film transforms glass from a brittle entry point into a flexible barrier. When struck, untreated glass shatters and clears almost instantly. Treated glass fractures but holds together, forcing repeated impacts to create an opening. That delay matters. 30 seconds can feel like an eternity when you're exposed, making noise, unsure who is watching. And here's where conventional advice often breaks down. Alarm systems, motion lights, visible cameras, these all assume a functioning infrastructure. They assume power, connectivity, and response. In a prolonged outage or systemic disruption, those assumptions collapse. An alarm that doesn't connect is just a noise generator. A sticker on the window becomes proof of prior investment, not current protection. A motion light in a dark neighborhood doesn't deter, it highlights. It says, "This house still has power." That's not security, that's a beacon. Step 3. Control what leaves your house, not just what comes in. This is the layer most people ignore. Operational security, OPSEC, is not about secrecy. It's about pattern control. Threats don't always come from forced entry. They come from observation, from inference, from small details accumulated over time. Your home communicates constantly. Packaging in the recycling, delivery frequency, power usage patterns, sound signatures, smells. Each one is a signal. Alone, they mean little. Together, they form a picture. During stable times, nobody cares. During unstable times, people notice everything. The generator running every evening during a blackout. The consistent hum when everything else is silent. The smell of cooking when others have none. The visible flow of supplies into one location. These are not just habits. They are broadcasts. A standard portable generator is loud enough to be heard across multiple properties in a quiet environment. It creates a fixed point of interest. A better approach is layered energy use. Battery first. Silent, low profile, minimal signature. Use it for daily needs. Recharge discreetly during the day if possible. Reserve louder systems for short, controlled intervals when ambient noise is highest. You are not eliminating your footprint. You are reducing its clarity. Then extend that principle. Break up purchasing patterns. Avoid predictable delivery schedules. Use neutral packaging where possible. Cook in ways that minimize strong, lingering smells. You are not hiding. Hiding implies there is something to discover. You are blending. Blending implies nothing stands out. And in uncertain environments, what doesn't stand out is rarely targeted. Step 4. Build depth, not height. The instinct is to build stronger barriers. Taller fences, thicker doors, more locks. That is vertical thinking. The problem with vertical defense is simple. It only has to fail once. One breach, and everything behind it is exposed. Depth changes the equation. Instead of one line, you create layers. Each layer adds friction. Each layer consumes time. Each layer introduces uncertainty. Layer 1 can be as simple as landscaping. Thorny plants beneath windows, dense and uncomfortable barriers that are natural, normal, and honestly pretty unremarkable. They don't look like defenses, but they function as one. Now, layer 2 is structural reinforcement. Things like doors, frames, and glass. These are quiet upgrades that increase resistance without increasing visibility. Layer 3 is behavioral response. If someone tests your home at 2 a.m., your instinct may be to investigate, to confront, to act. But that instinct is dangerous. At that moment, half awake, disoriented, adrenaline flooding your system, you are really not operating at your best. Even trained individuals require coordination, support, and clarity to safely clear unknown spaces. You are just one person, alone, in the dark. The correct response is not pursuit. It is positioning. Get behind a barrier. Create separation. Control the engagement distance. Let the structure absorb the impact. You are not defending the door. The door is defending you. You wait. You listen. You let time work in your favor. From the outside, every second of noise increases risk. Neighbors may wake, attention might shift, and the situation becomes less controlled. When effort outweighs reward, the attempt ends, and you remain safe without escalation. Layer 4, and this outperforms everything by a margin no one really admits, is relationships. Security is often framed as an individual responsibility. In reality, it is a network effect. Neighbors who know each other notice more. They recognize patterns. They identify anomalies faster. A car passing once is normal. Passing twice is noticed. Passing slowly, repeatedly, becomes a point of discussion. You don't need a coordinated group. You just need awareness, a few conversations, and shared contact information. A simple agreement. If something looks off, we say something. That alone increases the perceived risk of targeting any one home. Multiple households paying attention create overlapping observation zones. It's not formal, it's not visible, but it is effective. A single fortified home stands alone. A connected street becomes a system, and systems are just a lot harder to exploit. Step 5. Define the line that overrides everything. No system is perfect. Every position has a limit. The mistake is assuming that preparation means permanence. It doesn't. Preparation includes knowing when to leave. Define that threshold before you need it, not emotionally, but structurally. Fire that cannot be controlled. Water entering the structure. Sustained pressure that exceeds your layers. These are not feelings. These are conditions. Write them down. Make them explicit. When the condition is met, the decision is already made. This removes hesitation. It removes debate under stress. It replaces reaction with execution. An exit plan is not failure. It is part of the design. It acknowledges that resilience includes mobility. You are not abandoning a position. You are transitioning according to plan. That is not retreat. That is discipline. 88% of residential intrusions are impulsive decisions, not planned operations. Your entire strategy exists to disrupt that calculation. Nothing about your home signals excess. Nothing suggests ease. Nothing confirms value. From the outside, it looks ordinary. From the inside, it is layered, reinforced, and prepared. If someone tests the door, they encounter resistance. If they try the window, it doesn't behave as expected. If they observe patterns, they find none that stand out. They are not fighting you. They are fighting uncertainty. And uncertainty is often enough, because the easiest target is always the one that looks easier. Your goal is not to be the strongest. It is to be overlooked, ordinary, unremarkable, forgettable. That is not a failure of preparation. That is preparation working exactly as intended. The position is set. The signals are flat. Now you move on to the next vulnerability.